he's like the. I mean, you can see that. I'm just walking forward and just doing that with him. I'm not trying to aura farm with the sunglasses. It's literally just that bright from the sun that I can't see the screen if I don't have these on. So here I am making my entrance. My entrance song was called The Personality, but they played it from the wrong part. So I was thinking coming out like I can't even hear anything really. But then I realised afterwards that they played it from the intro. So there wasn't any lyrics when I was actually walking out. Coming into the fight, the trainer who was sort of like everyone who does fight night goes to the same trainer in like facilities, and he said it was about a week or so before the fight that the guy I was fighting was better than us. So that knocked my confidence a little bit coming into it. I was much more aware of what was going on this time compared to the first fight. The first fight that I had, everything was just like a bit of a rush. I feel like the difference this time, I was taking ashwagandha, and they're about 4 times the strength of the regular ones that you'd get from like the chemist, I guess. So I took like 4 of them the morning of the fight, and I feel like that affected me. Because I've realised now, well, I googled it, and it affects your adrenaline. So I was much more like, when I was throwing my jab and stuff like that, I feel like I was getting no power behind it compared to like training and stuff. But I, as you can see here, I was sort of coming out swinging in the first sort of 30 seconds. I feel like that's just my style as well. I throw a lot of punches. There's not much technique going on, but I feel like I'm always sort of like the one coming forward. Even when he's like throwing shots, I'm still sort of the one coming at him. Which I think my stamina is decent, so I think you can sort of do that if your stamina is all right. But obviously the main thing that I need to improve is my defense. Definitely, I feel like I'm just so focused on being the one coming forward that I forget to just keep my hands up. It probably gets worse as the rounds go on, but as you can see there, like, there's not really much going on in terms of defence. Obviously keeping my hands up, and I don't really have much head movement either. Obviously it's fought with 16-ounce gloves, which, like, if you don't know boxing, you might not think that like it really makes much of a difference, but the more padded the gloves are, like, obviously the less that your body's feeling getting hit. So I think that's probably why I get away with having my hands down as much. If they were with 12 or 14-ounce gloves, I feel like I'd feel the shots more. Whether that would mean that I'd get my hands up more is another question. But I definitely would get punished for it more. So yeah, the first round's over there. I feel like he won that one probably just. As you can see, well, you'll see in a second, with round 2, I think that's probably where he was the most dominant. I feel like that one was probably the closest round out of the 3. But yeah, sitting down on the stool, I just felt like he'd probably took that just about. So we're getting underway in round 2 here. It's quite hard to talk through what's actually like going on punch to punch, especially sort of from my side of things. Here I am getting a standing count. I feel like that one was probably fair enough because he threw 4 or 5 punches unanswered. I was still coming forward, but I feel like that standing count was fair enough. I'm going to get a second one in a second here. I feel like that wasn't really fair. So as you can see here, I'm coming forward. Sort of got him in the corner a little bit. Wait for it here. I'm absolutely sweating. So yeah, once again, got him in the corner a little bit. See, I don't really feel like that should have been a standing count. I mean, like, tell me if you think I'm wrong, but I feel like that one was a bit like there was only like 2 or 3 punches there, and it wasn't like I wasn't throwing back. But so when I was getting that second standing count, they told us in the sort of build up to it that if you get 3 standing counts in a round, then the fight's over. If you don't know what a standing count is, it's basically just like if you get like knocked down in boxing, you've got the count of 10 to get up on your feet and continue the fight. Obviously, with that, like with the gloves being so heavy and stuff, it's unlikely that people are going to get knocked down. So they give you standing counts instead if someone's dominating the fight too much. So I feel like the first one was fair enough, but the second one I didn't really know why that one happened. But I came out and I was like, I just can't get another standing count or the fight's going to be over. So yeah, sitting down in between the second and third round, I just remember my brother saying it was like he's tired. In that environment, you can't really hear like what the people are saying to you in between rounds, really. Obviously there's a lot going on in your head as well, but there's music playing as well, so it's hard to understand. But I remember him saying that, and I think that probably gave us a bit of faith coming into the last round, just because obviously he dominated that round there, but that sort of allowed me to think that I'm gonna put the afterburners on, sort of thing, in the third, because I was tired, but I could see that he was more fatigued than I was. So yeah, I feel like this was probably the most dominant round out of the 3. You know, I've got him in the corner here, but I was that tired that like there wasn't really much going on. I got told off there for grabbing the back of his head, and I think I'll do it again in a second here, unless that's already been. But I don't know what sort of made us do that. I hit him with a couple of decent uppercuts in this round, like going towards the ropes. I feel like that was probably like I mean, you can see there. I'm just walking forward and just doing that one. There's absolutely nothing behind them punches, like. Yeah, as I said, like taking the ashwagandha and stuff like that, coming into the fight, I just felt quite like, I don't know, like I wasn't nervous at all, really, especially compared to the first one. The ashwagandha helped calm my nerves and stuff, like in the build up to it, because I was a bit of a wreck the first fight that I had, in terms of like stress and stuff. But I feel like it did affect my performance in this one. Like I've got him in the corner, but he wasn't really like ever in trouble. I'm just sort of like hands down, fucking swinging for the fences. But I knew that it's not scored like a proper boxing match, and then that's the fight over there. But I knew that it wasn't scored like a proper boxing match, like round to round. I feel like they do lean it a lot to what happens in the third round. I'm guessing that's probably because with it only being 3 rounds, whoever's dominating in the third is likely to be dominating if the fight went on further. So I'm guessing that's why they do it, but obviously it's not really scored properly. So standing there, I was assuming that I'd lost. Obviously, like I was pretty happy when they said that I'd won it. Having watched it back a couple of times, and obviously like here as well, I feel like I probably did get a bit lucky with the result. He wasn't too happy with the result, and I can see why. I definitely can. I think he's done like MMA quite a bit, and you can sort of tell that with, especially with his defense. He had a really strong defense, and he was in better like gym shape than me, which I sort of thought that it's unlikely that his cardio was going to be as good as mine. Not that like I've got excellent cardio for a boxer or anything like that, but I feel like it's decent. I was sort of thinking that his cardio is not going to be as good as mine if he's in that good gym shape, because it's hard to just focus on both of them at the same time. So yeah, I think as a boxer, he's definitely better than me. But I think what won it for us is literally just coming forward, because the judges, well, I don't even know who the judges were, to be honest, but I feel like because maybe they don't know boxing that well, they sort of just do it on whoever's like coming forward and making a fight out of it. Obviously at that level as well, you're not going to have like amazing technique from either people. So I think it is just whoever sort of is trying to make the best fight out of it. My opponent was like a bit of a counter puncher. He didn't really throw too many, and I feel like that's probably where he lost it. There was a couple of times I never really felt in trouble in the fight, but there was a couple of times when he'd hit me with a couple of shots and he could have maybe like came forward and kept throwing, but he'd sort of just hit me with a couple of counter shots when I was coming forward, and then sort of let it go and let me sort of like back off for a couple of seconds without coming forward and putting the pressure on more and more. I've just started training kickboxing. I haven't done any boxing since the fight, but I'm not really planning on doing any more fights in the immediate future. In the future I would like to do another one, definitely. Probably not a uni one like that, obviously. But yeah, I'd definitely like to do some kickboxing fights in the future, but that's not really my focus at the minute. I feel like I want to sort of just get up like a decent beginner's sort of level of kickboxing before I actually start taking it more seriously.